I'm Kaylee, and today I am ranking all of Jane Austen's heroes. I have a list of 9 heroes from Jane Austen's main novels, and we are going to rank them according to my favorites. Before we dive in, I'm going to reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we're going to shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to One Book, One Review. I'll leave a link to their channel down in the description, so go over and subscribe to them. And please do subscribe to this channel if you love all things Jane Austen. In this video, there will be some spoilers for most of Jane Austen's works. So if you don't already know at least the basic story of her main 6 novels, then you might want to go read some Jane Austen and come back to this video later. Right down at the bottom of my list, my least favorite hero, although I think in some ways he could almost go into the villain category, it's Frank Churchill. Frank Churchill kind of toes the line in between hero and villain because he is there as a foil to Mr. Knightley. He definitely does not behave well to Emma, and so in that way he could be considered like an anti-hero, an antagonist to our main character. But he's not evil. He's foolish sometimes, but he's not actually evil. And I think that he regrets, I hope, his bad behavior. By the end of the book, he appears to be a better person. So we're gonna keep him in the hero category instead of putting him in the villain category, but he's going to be down at the bottom of the list. Number 8 is Charles Bingley from Pride and Prejudice. I do really like Charles Bingley. I mean, he's a lovely person, but he's just so wishy-washy. I just wish he would make a decision and stick with it. He's much too apt to be influenced by what other people are doing instead of just sticking to his own convictions and having his own ideas about what is right and wrong and what he wants to do with his life. He just goes along with what everybody else says. Like, grow some backbone, man. Down at number 7 is Edmund Bertram from Mansfield Park. Edmund is kind and sweet and generous and a lovely, good person, but he's an idiot. He's just such a stupid idiot. It takes him forever to realize that the Crawfords are not good people and that Fanny is the one that you really love. I like Edmund, but he frustrates me. He's so dumb, he gets on my nerves. Number 6 is Edward Ferrars from Sense and Sensibility. I do like Edward Ferrars. I feel like he's a good person and he's kind and generous, but he is stupid. And he is frustrating and dumb. But I feel like I can't really criticize him as much as I would Edmund, because with Edward Ferrars, he made a mistake. He made a mistaken decision when he was younger to get engaged to Lucy Steele. And then it's like now as an adult, he regrets this decision he made when he was very young. So he's just kind of gotten himself into this difficult situation. But in the situation that he's in, he does act with honor, and he just kind of does the best that he can in a bad situation. Number 5 is Henry Tilney from Northanger Abbey. Finally, somebody with some common sense and a backbone, and that doesn't wishy-wash all over the place. Henry Tilney knows what he wants, and he's just a good, solid person. He's not stupid. He really is the perfect match for Catherine because he is so solid and sensible and just such a steady person. And she's all, romantic and imaginative and flighty. And so I feel like they are very happy together because he sort of anchors her down into reality. Henry Tilney has a great sense of humor as well. He's just so courteous and kind. He probably ought to be higher on this list, but I feel like he doesn't quite inspire romantic feelings in me as much as some of the other heroes do. So he's just kind of in the middle in this list. Number 4 is Colonel Christopher Brandon from Sense and Sensibility. I'm always inspired by stories of people who have had a lot of heartache and tragedy in their past, but it just makes them even more kind and more compassionate and patient with others. Colonel Brandon is definitely that person. And again, I feel like he is the perfect match for Marianne Dashwood because he is a steady, sensible person and he kind of anchors her down into reality when she gets all excited about poetry and stuff. And I feel like Colonel Brandon is very sensitive to other people's needs and other people's emotions while being a very steady person himself. And I think he's very brave to kind of weather the storms of the tragedy and heartache that he's had in his life. I really admire his character so much. All right, we are up to the top 3 Jane Austen heroes. Who will they be? Now, right away, some people are going to be really disappointed because number 3 is Fitzwilliam Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. I know a lot of people super love Darcy, and of course he is wonderful, but he's down at number 3 for me. I mean, after all, he does put the pride in Pride and Prejudice, and I feel like he is a little too self-centered. He can be very generous, absolutely, but he certainly thinks highly of himself. However, by the end of the book, he has had a character development where he's a little more humble. So that definitely makes him an interesting character. And he certainly knows how to make these grand romantic gestures, you know? And I do love to read about the witty repartee between him and Elizabeth. So he's certainly an interesting character, and of course, Pride and Prejudice is just such an amazing book. Number 2 is Captain Frederick Wentworth from Persuasion. Through most of the book in Persuasion, I spend my time just thinking, Wentworth, you're such an idiot. Oh my gosh, you're such an idiot. You stupid head. And I'm very angry and frustrated with him through most of the book. And then the letter. That letter is why Captain Wentworth is number 2 on this list. He's just so wonderful. Still, I can't help but think if only he had contacted Anne at any point during the 7-8 years that they were apart. If he had just, I don't know, just reached out and talked and just let go of his pride and had some kind of dialogue. No, he had to keep his prideful silence. There were 7 or 8 years? I can't remember. It's like 8 years of silence and misery when they could have been happy together. But I do feel like he has a lot of character development, and he begins to sort of take things more seriously in life by the end of the book, instead of flirting around with anything in a skirt. And so at the end, I forgive him, and he really is fantastic. I think one of the reasons why I really love Captain Wentworth is that he has like all of this passion and emotion kind of bubbling under the surface, which is true of the whole book of Persuasion. There's so much going on under the surface with these emotions that people are holding back. And in the letter, he lets his true feelings pour out. I like that he's kind of subtle and reserved in some ways, but then more expressive in other ways. And number 1, right at the tippity top, my most beloved Jane Austen hero that I wish would just whisk me away on a romantic Jane Austen adventure. It's George Knightley from Emma. George Knightley is one of the reasons why Emma is my favorite Jane Austen novel. First of all, I find that I'm very similar to Emma in personality, and so it kind of makes sense that I put myself in her shoes, and then her perfect match would of course also be my perfect match. Oh, what can I say about George Knightley? Oh my goodness. He's patient, he's compassionate, he's kind. I think the thing that actually endears me to him the most is the thing that annoys other people the most. He is always pushing Emma to be a better person. He is always looking for personal growth from himself, from her, from people around him. He's always encouraging people to be the best version of themselves. I love that because I'm that way, and I love having people in my life who push me or, just encourage me and support me in becoming a better person, overcoming my flaws and my faults, and trying to be more kind and more generous and more compassionate and truthful and all those things. I really love that Mr. Knightley and Emma have that relationship where they can be so open and honest with one another. I love that he is so patient with Mr. Woodhouse, and he's so respectful to Miss Bates and other annoying people like her. He is very humble. He does not have any sort of pride. He is friends with Robert Martin. He's educated and loves to read and learn. He's a very good judge of character because he sees right through Mr. Elton. It seems to me like he's just so utterly unselfish. Every time that they're together in a group of people at a party or a dinner or something, it seems like he's always looking for how he can make other people comfortable and how he can, he sends a carriage for Jane Fairfax and Miss Bates. He's just so thoughtful and kind and generous to others. And there's one thing that really puts him at the top of this list. When Mr. Darcy does things for the Bennet family in Pride and Prejudice, he tells Elizabeth, I did it for you. I did it in order to gain your approval. But George Knightley does things just to be generous, just to be kind, just to be good. He's not doing it to get Emma's attention or to get anyone's attention. He's just doing it because it's the right thing to do. That kind of personal integrity just puts him right at the top of this list. That is so incredibly attractive to me. And that is my ranking of Jane Austen's heroes. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know who is your very favorite of Jane Austen's heroes. And be on the lookout for other videos ranking the villains, ranking the heroines, and ranking the side characters and villainesses. Pretty much everybody. I'm doing a bunch of rankings. We're just gonna rank everybody. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.